Второй день конференции Финополиса
The second day of the Finnopolis conference
таким
is distinctive due to its
что же происходит,
slight misunderstanding of what is happening, because there is a multitude of parallel sessions, and the sessions are very interesting.
Вчерашний день
I'm confident that yesterday have impressed many people by both plenary sessions and narrow sectoral sessions, and I would like to thank you, our participants of the Web3 session, for choosing our room number 7, and we will try not to disappoint you and get you involved in the discussion. Web3 is actually very tumultuous, very sprawling substance, and we would like to try to determine what are the definitions, if there are any life, any prerequisites in there, and then I will try to propose the second part to the colleagues, and to spend it in the discussions. We will stop the discussion then, and then try to analyze the cases, what we have in terms of what we have for Web3. Today we have the best representative of the sector. I'm not afraid, I'm not joking, and we will start with Dmitry Kharitonov, who is Director General of Innotech Group of Companies. Let's applaud to him. He is has a wealthy experience. He will not let us go into lyrics, and he has development expertise, 13,000 people on the payroll of the company, so they are actually approaching Facebook, the prohibited in Russia extremist organization, and so you are becoming one of the world's largest corporations. And like as I know, T1 and Innotech are included in the list of Russia's largest IT companies. That is true. It's not more about not us, but the industry in which we work. This is how it is developing, and everybody knows it. And actually, yesterday the session, it has been noted that Russia's Fintech was ahead, and due to that we have the pace. So you probably won't allow us to go too far into the fantasies, because you are pragmatic, you are increasing, and you are paying people to some extent. So we'll try to understand how you see Web3 and what products are being prepared. And I would like to also introduce Sergey Ryabov, the head of the business development of Masterchain, and it has been widely acclaimed. It's a partner of Innotech and Finopolis, and they have there's been a lot of rumor, a lot of noise. Yes, it's creating a lot of buzz around it for 5 years maybe, and we had a very powerful start. And now I remember that there have been many unfriendly locations like Riga, Latvia, like you spoke at a conference there, and AFT then was representing the case of Masterchain as a unique case worldwide, and nobody in the world was making such platforms, certified information exchange, so it's fantastic. It was an explosion then. And now the colleagues have already separated themselves. They have become adult. They went to free travel, and so they won't let us spring away from the DLT system. And I'm counting on your support, on your competent opinion. And Herbert Shopnik is development manager of Web3 tech company, and unlike the previous two speakers, they are directly have to do with Web3, and Herbert actually has instantly understood where to work, what to get involved with. Herbert has this kind of a serious traction. Everybody used to speak about clouds. There was this buzz about the clouds at all the conferences. And Herbert was one of the best experts in WinWare, which actually has left Russia. Organization has left Russia. It was a leader in cloud services. And then surprising transformation happened. Blockchain projects, then Isonom and others, and then S7. S7 Lab, and that was an interesting twist because why would IR companies get involved with that? Why? Maybe there is a short answer. The short answer is that the turnover through the blockchain platform of S7 and Alpha Bank has made 8 billion rubles. So that's a brief answer, so which actually disproves the myth of DLT and non-applicability. I actually would like to ask you to pull out examples of your pocket and tell us. And now Herbert is actually working with Web3 tech, and among other things, he has his own project dedicated to art, and we will ask you as a specialist. Actually, we will ask a specialist. I will put hashtags on you, and for the audience, it might be interesting to answer questions. NFT, the art of NFT, is Herbert, and Sergey Ryabov is probably having to do with DLT, with digital financial assets, and Dmitry Kharitonov. Dmitry, you are probably involved with everything. So there's Fintech infrastructure and tokenization. Ecosystems, probably. So actually you want to take everything, but we need to be more precise. Ecosystems, interoperability, we will try to find out from you different gates between the blockchains. And the last speaker, but not in terms of his significance, is my colleague Alexei Kalenchuk. Alexei, let's applaud to him. And he is the one who had in his store many reincarnations, and I think actually I'm seeing him constantly in the work. He's constantly playing games. He's always watching some content. So it's his dream job. Everybody envies him. So there are some points, some device testing, some new platforms. And the main newsmaker in our collective of the Skolkovo Foundation. So what is happening in those technoparks, and what serials, what that peripheral serials have been discussing in the Newton chat social network. Alexei is responsible for new media for the Skolkovo VR Foundation, and nobody has actually asked him, and I probably won't be wrong, it's actually just a call of nature, and he has put together a group of enthusiasts, and he has published a survey on the corporate metaverses. So this is how we will label Alexei, the AI, VR, and corporate metaverse. My name is Pavel Novikov from Skolkovo Fintech, and it seemed to me until September that I have nothing to do with the trip, but in September this funnel started to pull me in. I got invited to events, and our startups started to ask me questions about how we can find ourselves in this big universe. And I want to probably sort out this universe, and maybe I will ask Herbert first. I am tired of reading the statistics, the surveys, reports, forecasts about the markets. None of them come true. The entire capitalization of all the companies in the country, worldwide, is actually $100 trillion, and 15 trillion is Web 2.0. So our giants are Google. 15% of the capitalization of world's companies is Web 2. Web 3, just tens of billions are beginning to generate, maybe 80 billion, maybe a little less fast growth rate, but it's really little from what exists now. And so Metaverses is a separate topic, and I'm seeing digits from hundreds of millions to 1.5 trillion. Let's understand those definitions. Web 3, what kind of a market it is? What does it consist of? What is the volume and what are the forecasts? What forecasts do you see? What is the maturity of this market? Because it hasn't become more clear for me 2 months after. What is happening in this market, please? Thank you. I actually mentioned that it started to pull you in. You thought you are not Web 3, but actually you are already there, like most of the people sitting in here. And actually just 2 days ago, fresh statistics has surfaced that for a full month from July to October this year, 88 startups got funding in the amount of $406 million, Web 3 startups. And even a more narrow one, Art Plus Tech, a more narrow part. Out of them, 10%, 8 to 9 startups got the second round of funding this year in less than a year, so it's very prompt, very fast. So this is why you are actually getting involved with it, because there is investment and more. Many projects are generated, and about Web 3 you don't have pictures. However, there is a multitude of everything, and everything that's connected to the decentralization. The decentralized exchanges, crypto exchanges, DApps, including NFT, including Metaverses. So there is this cross-section which is created on the basis of those technologies, because they can be corporate ones. There are players who are doing it in the market, in the gaming market, the GameFi, and there are completely decentralized projects which are now ahead of all the metaverses. They are decentralized. There are people in there. There is sale and purchase. There is some turnover, financial turnover, and they are absolutely. The forecasts absolutely false. So what is Web 3? What is included in metaverses? And I will probably mention the most powerful forecast when it comes to the metaverses, because it's a forecast from Citigroup, and it's a highly esteemed company. They have released the forecast in summer, and they're very actually bold proposal, suggestions or hypothesis is that up to 2030 it will reach $13 trillion. It's the highest estimate that I saw, and it's based on the number of the users that will come to those metaverses. And they have the virtual and augmented reality devices, and the positive forecast is up to $13 billion. And it covers everything from AR and VR, and ending with the cloud technologies and data transfer networks, because infrastructure is necessary for this. Because if we look at the map of vendor companies who participate in it, because it would be impossible to find all the familiar players in this market. Everything related to IT, and there was another forecast from McKinsey, not less ambitious, $5 trillion, and when you start to read it. It's NFT and tokenization, decentralization, and cryptocurrencies, and they present them as more digital native tokens, which actually says that we will interface with some kind of digital currency, maybe stable coins, or decentralized or state one, but it's a very all-encompassing notion. But the stable coins in CBDC, are they a part of this economy? Are they a part of the metaverses? Actually, the capitalization of these goods is mentioned, and they are part of it as a tool, thanks to which people will interface in those metaverses, because addressable marketing is how much the companies, the large big tech startups can earn, starting from hardware, ending with clouds, and ending with creators. So you have actually tried to a little bit lift the veil, to dissolve this, move away the mist. So it's actually compared with the current capitalization of all the Web 2. So a huge leap should happen in metaverse. Still, we are observing a strange situation when it comes to the prohibited organization in Russia. Today is actually the last day when you can sell the prohibited the shares of the prohibited extremist organization in Russia. Last time we went, you said that this is the last day when you can withdraw Bitcoin from blockchain.com. Yes, the Russian exchange, yes, it was holding, and today until the end of the evening, Meta's shares will turn into a pumpkin until midnight. And Alexei, the question to you: if 13 trillion, what are going to generate from, as far as you know probably what is happening in the metaverses, so you probably know where you are. So the first question is about the terminology. So what can be related to this concept? And like our esteemed McKinsey, the consultants, I think, talking about the term of metaverse in plural is probably completely unprofessional, because mostly, especially when in Web3 community, we are talking about virtual worlds, but in web and VR or elsewhere, I don't think this should be called metaverse. I think it's virtual worlds, and metaverse, the consensus of the experts is the image of the future, and it doesn't exist yet in the form in which we could imagine it. It's actually a certain vision. Everything connected with Web3, it's one of the components. It's still a big question whether Web3 is an advantage and where that advantage may lie, or maybe it's actually the fifth leg of some sort. And there are many advantages, and so it may be an ambitious technology in which standards can be embedded. And so it's some kind of a concept which will probably inherit after the current mobile internet. So it's not something abstract. You are already now connected to internet, all of you, each one of you. You have smartphones, and in the first version of the digital world, you are connected to it, but you are not immersed in it. But the step 2 probably enabler will be a VR set, consumer one, and the smartphones will be closer to your head, and you will spend more time in the digital world even though you are there already. So all the services will be transformed into that, And when we're talking about Web3 and the metaverse concept, it's pretty easy because metaverse includes a number of components such as virtual worlds, such as hardware pieces, the tools, the devices, interfaces, smartphones. VR is cool, but it's not a mass phenomenon. It's a huge part. Also, a lot of computation because no immersive world is not possible without realistic ID pictures, avatars, without simulation, without the objects behaving realistically. So essentially all of them, not only in the physical world, but also any kind of models of business processes and also infrastructure, net technologies, and there is actually a barrier to the presence of people, number of people in one online room. Its standard is 50 users. And in the vision concept, the limit is if you get in a room where there is 1,000 users. And what do we call a room? A room is some space in multi-user games. And how do people have more than 50 in multi-user games? No, only 50 nearest players are actually computed, calculated around you. And so there are network interface elements, and in this or that way you are close to your closest 50 players. Apart from that, there is a big unit connected with payments, and that's a separate topic, and there are actually two streams. The decentralized payments included, and also digital assets, which can be both decentralized and they can also be a part of some systems such as Microsoft or Epic Games or somebody else or Roblox. And are also big units connected with content, the content as such, so services in the virtual worlds and the virtual worlds as such, and that in aggregate is a kind of an image of the future, an image of what internet of the next generation would look like, and there is also this feature, you want to call it Web3, but Web3 is a possible scenario for the development of the concept of the metaverses. So it can be big tech world to which we are used, but it will be immersive with interoperability standards, and it doesn't have to be in Web3. And all these components are universe in general understanding. So actually dividing this, sectioning this is one thing, but then also we leap from Web3 to Metaverse, Web3 to Metaverse. So can you put some labels or attach some criteria or signs to the technologies? So is it Decentraland? Is it Metaverse? No, it's a Web 3D virtual world with Web 3 economy, with a blockchain economy inside. You cannot call it a metaverse even though it is being marketed like that. Decentraland, everybody is talking about it, but the user audience at the peak was 600 people. So it's a wonderful thing. But Roblox, is it a metaverse? No, Roblox, it's a virtual world with built-in economy, and it's a game. It's a game creation system. GSC, it's actually 4 components of the image of the future. Without blockchain, without Web3, so actually it can become of the part of the metaverse of the future. So it's metaverse as internet, but inside it there is virtual world, which actually appears. They are actually subdomains with the protocols and the like.
подобное.
everything else related to that, but actually everybody is learning in Roblox. We learn about it from the kids, and actually many adults also familiar with that. So they are not compatible in terms of scale, in terms of the power, in terms of the audience, and what is what actually mention of metaverse does on the from the point of view of the PR. So being a little bit of a proponent of Centerland, actually,
стоит сказать, что Roblox шел к текущей своей аудитории порядка
and
7 лет.
actually, when it comes to the internal economy and internal gaming designers,
конструкторов внутриигровых, они все тоже
actually, do you Second Life? Has anyone played Second Life? Avatars?
Second Life.
So one hand in the room. I played Second Life about 15 years ago, for 15 minutes, yes. Yes, so it's like Minecraft. There was virtually nothing to create, but you could have created your alter ego, and there are no rules. So this is cool, and the company is still alive. So there is 1 million users, active or non-active. So Second Life is like a great grandfather of the new novelties. Along those lines, so Web3, non-Web3, VR, not VR. So we will be talking to you. So let's try to put it, to break it into parts. Let's take a register. Those projects are often connected with the distributed register, and whether they are integral components and what role and why they are playing. So maybe we will try to torture you with the questions again. So can a Web3 project be without blockchain? It's a simple question.
Может ли Web3 проект быть без блокчейна? Простой вопрос.
Yes or no? But I will follow a different topic. Yes. No, Web3 at its basis contains some kind of a decentralization, and decentralization can be done differently. It's one of the cases of a distributed register, but since we know that blockchain is about 95% of the cases of distributed register, I think blockchain and Web3 are very closely related, and they are related from the point of view of the notions and ideas, and in all kinds of ways. I can continue. So I was talking about different technologies, Alexei. So this packaging aspect, the wrapping aspect, the interface aspect, Alexei. You have described a lot to us. We will try to touch upon the infrastructure, the bad renders, algorithms, and some kind of chips. But those chips will actually appear, but quantum computers are still poor. So what components are available, what protocols of a different nature, what is the Polkadot? Web3 is Polkadot. This is what I heard, the version that I heard. Actually, we called Masterchain company, it's a legal entity, it's a distributed register technology, but I will tell about this technology since I know about it. Actually, we started with very hype topics, NFT, Metaverse. We actually did not touch Metaverse. We have parked it a little bit. No, we haven't. No, we have missed it. No, we were going to come back to it. And yesterday we discussed this. So there should be some artificial conflict, and the artificial conflict is actually in the color of our blazers. Everybody is in blue and I'm in brown and gray. So since I'm in brown and gray, I will be skeptic. This is the kind of a role that I have selected for myself. So about a couple steps away back in 1970s in the Soviet Union, this technology has been invented, but the internet was not powerful enough. So what cryptocurrencies are like now, it's actually
на что сейчас больше всего похожи там условные криптовалюты.
the first distributed payment system was done by the Knight Templars
это 12 век.
in the Middle Ages. So you could
тамплиеров в каждом регионе.
Deposit money on one end and collect it on the other end without internet. It was a little bit poor, a little bit weak during that time, but if we come back to the current realities, Web3 is actually based on decentralization, and decentralization is in everything. And in the first place, it is the payment infrastructure, and everybody, because there is no money inside, nobody is interested. So those marketing reps in the form of NFT and metaverses, yes, I'm a skeptic today. You can throw tomatoes at me. I'm used to it. In the first place, it's marketing, and marketing is expected where there is money, and the money have appeared. The first case of blockchain is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, they actually gave birth to this story, and the entire philosophy was that the decentralized infrastructure of the cryptocurrencies will actually help people get by without centralized hubs, where a large portion of profit or margin or some commission remain, and everything was wonderful, and the philosophy was wonderful. But what we came over, what we got to now, we have the blockchain of the first level, when there is a certain decentralization and actually some kind of anonymization, even though it has been already disproven. But when we're talking about blockchain of the second level, blockchain of the blockchains is centralization. So on the second level, we centralize the blockchains of the second level, and here we understand, because we are moving in any case through the track of decentralization, and one of the brightest examples is the Swift's announcement that they are going to make a blockchain of blockchains for financial transactions. So what are they doing? They have seen a space where there is a lot of money, and they want to access as the central player into this space without losing their current financial flows and not missing this story. So essentially, how to draw a conclusion from what I said, the decentralization is at the basis of Web3, but the real decentralization does not exist any longer. Most of the transactions are de-anonymized, and the transactions of the second and third level and the centralized players that access that market, they enter the same type of control, introduce the same type of control. And when we see that the classical players are going to this market, Visa and Mastercard have announced about that as well. And Web3 is a technology, blockchain as a technology is becoming just a tool on the shelf of centralized players. And as a skeptic, I can say that essentially, structure-wise, we belong by 60% to the state, and the majority stock belongs to central banks. So what else can I say about central bank, about cryptocurrency if I'm connected to central bank? Actually, we see that even if we use decentralized technologies, still we are coming to centralization of that technologies when there is an operator who is in charge for the transaction inside the ecosystem, inside the metaverse. And I heard that there are only centralized assets. Some of them are centralized, decentralized. Some of them belong to Microsoft, to somebody like that. So it's actually a step towards centralization. Large corporations do not want their business go. You can centralize as much as possible, but large corporations will still become the operators, and they will earn on that. So you cannot, it's difficult to argue with you. I'm a professional person, but still, I would like to come back to the example of Bitcoin's blockchain. and the most distributed in terms of the economics and the number of miners around the world in different jurisdictions that determines decentralization, and we made actually this kind of a crosscut, and we have been observing it. First it was China, then out of China there was this great flow to the States, coming back from the States back to China. So there was this motion of the mining pools, and different jurisdictions have those pools. In one way or the other, the government is controlling it. In some way, Kazakhstan is also one of the top 3. Russia is falling out in spite of the cheap electric power. Or we are hiding, maybe our miners are hiding, they are out of the big 5. So it's a 12 to 5% drop. And the total miners out of all the hash rate, the mining capabilities in this or that country, in terms of the mining capabilities in this or that country. So it basically revolves around 10 countries, and a little bit goes United States, China, and then a little bit in China and in Russia, and in Kazakhstan and in Russia. So speaking about the corporate solutions in the based on distributed register, there are many spots that can be recorded, captured, and you can have some kind of a solution, have some like a key in a glass box that everybody is seeing, like it was at one point described by central bank, and you can return, retrieve the transaction, because blockchain is connected with contracts with tokenization. There can always be forks, human factor, errors. There are many examples in the market which prove that any register, no register can be changed, anything can be changed, including Bitcoin's blockchain as well. So it can be rolled back if real assets are suspended on it, some kind of payment for something, then it will be very difficult to do the return. And of course centralization is so far overcoming, and it's not afraid of decentralization. So let's talk about one more topic: smart contracts on the shoulders of the distributed computation. There is one more substance which was once nominated by Vitaly Buterin and Martinov as well at the session pod the fee. I asked him, what are you investing in, Vlad, if it's not a secret, and I can answer to you, and he is the partner of Vitaly Buterin. He invests in Web3, but what exactly in Web3? And we narrow down its projects in Web3 with the payback period of 2 years, but it's not venture capital, it's actually some kind of a candle-making factory, yes. There are such projects with such kind of dividends, so it's an opinion of a person who has been from the beginning, together with Vitaly Buterin, was involved in this, so it's actually an easy hint that Web3 is still alive, and the real angel money or venture fund money actually are pouring in there, so there is some phase, there is some huge risk, and people are awaiting great dividends. And now we feel like searching again with you for those trends, for those niches that can surface in the horizon to actually be quieter and to make maximum dividends, to create infrastructure solutions and building up infrastructure for any cases, for any dApps, for any platforms, and you are creating some platforms. Can you bring examples? Can you actually make examples of such kind? Thank you for advertising. Actually, yes, there are not so many vendors of blockchain solutions in Russia, and the competition on the one hand is not very very big, and on the other hand, each one of the vendors, Herbert will not let me lie. We have to first raise awareness on the market and then try to sell something. So we have first three cases: the digital banking guarantees. We pull together the banks of beneficiaries and principals. Also, decentralized depository system. We put together depositories of mortgage bonds and Russian registers. So we pulled together the state and business, and also digital financial assets. Actually, honestly speaking, digital financial assets, it's a purely decentralized thing for storing information on blockchain for its in order to make it unchanged. And there are also some infrastructure projects. One more of them is SG. SG is actually has a little bit dwindled, yet for the market council we are implementing the green certificate coordination and accounting system, and it also fits well with blockchain because the registration takes place in blockchain, and actually the international experience of such things happens in blockchain. It's very easy to partner in this in the framework of this story. I hope that the borders would open and we will again make friends, and we will again be partners with international companies who are involved with HG. Was I wrong? Of course you were wrong, but I have to agree with. I cannot agree with you. So 5 years ago, Alexander Ivanov said the same. And the case was very easy. Carbon footprint, blockchain, China. We have a big territory, 15 million kilometers, so a huge quota. We will be selling it. What can be easier? Smart contracts, stock taking, accounting, etc. No, but it didn't prove that it has proven not easy. So of sensors at the factories, on the generators, on the engines, yes, we have them, but it's not blockchain. But it's not about blockchain. It's not about smart contracts, but the infrastructure for collecting the information about the pollution, and it's impossible to do because why would you incur such big costs if you don't have to? Usually the economy wins in such case. There is a strategy for the development, the carbon development strategy in Russia, and there are instructions from the president. Of course, it's being implemented, of course, with but with shifts by 10 years. No, it's not shifted, and there is a Khalin region where they started a pilot project in September, and they are going to become carbon neutral over a year for their whole region, and it's actually a region of Russia. No deadlines have shifted. The only thing that they have indicated one operated has nothing to do with Web3, but they wanted to have something to do with Web3. They want to have smart contracts. It's good when people have fully fledged participation. The main thing is that people not not only participate on the level of finance, but also there are content makers or people who separate the waste. Maybe those are motives for normal people. And you can just persuade the society not to litter, but we haven't even coped with the simple tasks. So I will join you, and so there was a session on the unified metric system, and actually citizens for some reasons do not want to submit their metric paper because it's submit their metric data because it's not profitable, cumbersome, etc. The same thing with the waste, with waste collection. It lies in the cultural and social maturity field. So maybe we lack some civilization development. So you're going too far into philosophy. 15 minutes will not be enough.
10 минут не хватит на это.
So the main answer, the brief answer is that we need to raise awareness.
Очень короткий ответ, что
And
просвещение
the number of companies and speakers has grown sharply who see future in the smart contracts. Yesterday, Gref said that blockchain is actually the technology of the future in which he believes. It's actually a serious statement. And also not much is being said about AI.
Искусственный интеллект немного говорил.
Я тоже про него немного
Yes, it used to be dominating, and now it's blockchain. So over the horizon of 5 years, I think smart contracts will actually function not as logical operations, but real digital contracts that will be signed in real digital world, and they will transfer all the information about contracts, about the contractual parties, also with the help of digital ruble, which will appear next year. So those are the prospects that I see over the 5 years horizon. Concerning news about the digital ruble, actually, Dmitry, maybe we can actually discuss about the topic. There are pragmatic commercial organizations in the planning events and different sessions. You have DeFi, CFA, and others. So how can we answer that? Thank you. And maybe thanks to marketing, these words are known, but in reality, actually, I'm a practitioner, and we can probably understand certain things through the practice. The technologies do not change; they change our life in an unnoticed way. So you can, if we imagine an Apollos, and if you imagine it 7 to 8 years ago, those would have been the machines would print plastic cards. Everybody would be telling about cash box. You don't see no ATM machines. You can see cars. You can take pictures. You can actually earn 100 rubles with actually submitting your biometrical data. And that's about changing the fact that the technologies have changed our life, and they have become, the technologies have become different. So how we can connect with Sergey the digital banking guarantees and letters of credit, and we have launched it together with the partners. It's actually clearly understood thing how many participants of Masterchain there are, and the number of the transactions. The number of the participants is about 20 largest banks, largest corporations. So we actually expected a lot more, and there would be more involvement of the large-scale projects. So, but something has happened, and something is preventing the companies, corporations, and users from doing it. But it's actually reliable. It's actually the Masterchain network is certified by FSB, and we can actually banks can be doing it. So we can ask about central bank. It can be adjusted, or we can get people involved and tell what advantages it gives, what it gives to the banks in the first place, among other things for the public contracts, where it is of critical importance to monitor the target funding and to make this technology move forward. And let's take another example, not from Web 3.0, but also we can talk about CoRs and FacePay. It was launched a couple years ago. So we'll start them. Subway is working on MCD, MCK, and what has been done those shares and those discounts which NSPK is giving. So when you get people involved, not only enthusiasts, but normal people, and we can actually, there are actually obvious economic benefits. The trips trips using those smart systems are cheaper, so I can explain why it's cheaper for the commerce, because but you can actually go a little bit into acquiring, but it's also dying down, and in about 5 years it will be completely missing, and the commission on SBP transaction is less than 1%. So it's from 2% to 0.4 to 0.5, and that has yielded. So in getting people involved, millions or hundreds of millions of people. Actually, the money for innovations are being washed out, and the big commissions, there are big commissions, and the prices of services are actually affecting it. But I think the world is governed by the economical data. But if the player is a monopolist, what will it lead to in 5 years? Actually, it will not lead to a monopoly, but the technologies will be pushing business and the economy in general in the direction of more profitable solution. Acquiring is not profitable any longer. We are all paying on the basis of SBP, and in the product market we can pay on the basis of SBP. The system of fast, it's the Russian acronym for the system of fast payments, and people are not even scared of the Visa and Mastercard having left Russia, but actually banks do not like it very much. They actually are losing the acquiring flow. And again, this is a chance for the banks, because those who have changed fast, they have actually won the market, and it's like in our case when there are not comfortable services and terrible internet banks. You will just work wherever it is more comfortable, and the same thing in the corporate businesses. So it depends on from what point you are looking. There are printed cards, you take them around, and there are wonderful solutions with ASPC, and it's paying the printing the keychains, and the beauty parlors have stickers, everything is connected. So it's a good thing for SMEs, for small and medium enterprise. And you have answered this question yourself. It's actually for the small ones, for the small banks. But the banks need to look what to invest in. So you, as a supplier of solutions, as a client for the bank. So, where do you increase the rate, and what solutions? You are not involved with blockchain. No, we partly do. There are certain solutions. For example, for when you pay for the fuel, for the jet fuel, and those things exist. But we want to give the people and companies a chance, and the banks and companies, they are inert. So it works, and do not touch it. Okay.
вот это работает...
Неправильно, я кивнул, но по инерции правильно,
So
я
if it's
неправильно.
cheaper,
Трош.
if it's faster, if it helps you increase the client base, then the companies should see the ingredients, the development ingredients. In principle, it was an expected answer. Everything is conservative, there are no CFAs and other stories. However, okay, I'm actually a little bit aggravating it, okay, it's a classic example.
Давайте-ка вспомним еще один пример, классный, который состоялся, сейчас представлен, кстати, здесь на выставке. Это компания
So there
Factoring.
is factoring in blockchain. It has been purchased by blockchain.
Куплено МТСом.
So it's now being transformed in CFA hub, and it's enlightening people on along the same lines.
Просвещают людей абсолютно в том же тренде, просвещают людей, профессионалов и непрофессионалов.
They wanted people to create their own platform.
Прекрасная вещь. Делая свою платформу, доказав,
So they have proven the validity of this idea, that it's actually sustainable, and there are
смарт-контрактов, не знаю, десятки.
Everybody is content with this level of trust, and there has been confirmations of the examples that even in the Russia economy, small as it is, there is an adequate number of cases, and some companies have exited, and the volume of investment in Fintech, actually you feel like crying. People say when everything is good, but it was good in 2021. There was this takeoff by $400 million, huge transactions like $400 million. So you should keep holding onto your chairs. And the 2 million of public transactions, so 500,000 literally. So Fintech, from the point of view of small tech companies, which is disrupting the big system or entering a new market. In Russia, I can say that it's dying. Maybe there are some states where it's where actually some cases when crowd investors will invest in Fintech, but it will only probably more than 50 to 60 to $100 million. So this is how it's happening. And so all the hope is with the large corporations.
Вся надежда только на крупные корпорации, которые в себя втягивают в общем-то, не убивая их.
And there is another question.
Вопрос еще один к вам.
But are you planning to invest in the company which is necessary? Because there is a payback for 2 years or 4 years of the caliber and scale like you. Well, it's more like not investment, but actually investment via the development of some trends. The cluster company is okay. I am confident that blockchain and administration will be growing. Maybe they will prepare a good regulatory base and they will develop separate clusters. And on the whole, in T1 holding, we have a data cluster and everything that is connected with the comprehensive approach to the data storages, visualization of data, etc. It's all available, and the analytical platforms. So we will definitely be doing something like that, and definitely we will be getting partners involved, and I will be commenting about the purchase of, won't be commenting about purchase of startups, but of course there are certain areas for the kind of business to develop. And the Novikov Center is asking us to look there. So there are more. There are actually 3 accreditations, 4 accreditations actually. which are in the process. So 4 companies up to the end of the year, then next year digital ruble, and we are still among the front runners, more advanced countries in this area. And then prompt survey. I would like to answer you real quick, ask you real quick. Where do you see the role in the international division of labor? Where not everything is lost, in your opinion? When it comes to Web3 and Metaverse, where do we have a chance? It's not speaking about Russia. And the Web3, to make Web3 part of the Metaverse, the greatest pain is actually simplification and isolation of Web3 inside ourselves. It's actually a dead end, because you have to make projects simple, easy for the developers.
Простыми для разработчиков и, главное, для пользователей.
So, summary, in what directions of Web3 or Metaverse do we have strong positions, which we can retain? So we have 100 rubles, we have a huge amount of those spots or directions or niches where we can investigate Web3. Metaverse, and what can Russia give to the world? Decentralized solutions based on blockchain, based on distributed payment systems, not on the pilot form, but actually in the industrial implementation, maybe on the limited scales. Okay, you were right in saying that. We are one of the leaders when it comes to digital ruble, and also there is a great interest, at least with the national central banks and the CIS countries, to the experience of the Russian Federation when it comes to CBDC. And I think in this respect we can share the experience. We have quite powerful vendors who can, with the help of the central banks or without the help of the central banks, create a system which will help maintain the national currency. And if we are not number 1, then we are actually in the top 3, and the export and import and cross-border problems are actually pushing us there. Yes, when we are talking about blockchain independence, it's starting to boil. And in Russia, it has been for many years one of the leaders of the DLT technology application and blockchain in the state and corporate sector. Over 1 million people are voting for blockchain. If you were not talking about over 50 banks are connected to blockchain network, to the blockchain network of the Federal Tax Service, and billions of rubles are being circulated via blockchain platforms of Russian platforms. So Russia is a leader in the application of blockchain. But when it comes to Web3, in the past, Web3 and all the space very advanced things connected to blockchains, if they didn't overlap in the past, now they are starting to overlap. Since I was in the NGO, digital economy NGO, together with the central bank, and they were discussing the regulation of NFT and DAO, and we have a very cool Russian project which is now actually being reoriented to the West. It used to be a solely Russian project, Sensorium Galaxy. It was Prokhorov's project, Mikhail Prokhorov's project, and it's hard to say because Metaverse requires a lot of resources and with unlimited contact with the world. And when it comes to Web3, in its manifestation, it will be developing, and all the decentralized things will be growing, and it's enough, virtually enough. and people will be doing it, it's happening, and digital assets, financial assets, we have adopted this law, and it's appearing, and on the one hand it's regulating, on the other hand it's limiting certain things, and actually pushing to start to try to create something. So digital rubles on blockchain, assets are on blockchain, Metaverse is on blockchain, and decentralization elements are also in blockchain, and NFT as well. It's the tool which actually confirms the right of owning virtual assets in such systems. There is no other tool. So in the decentralized land, there is no central bank, there is no Sberbank, there is no Russian register, there is only NFT confirms what you have sold, what you bought, and what you own. And in Russia, it's also developing. We have launched the Russian NFT marketplace. It's blockchain is a part of the Russian software register, so it's very orthodox, very kosher. So we are actually ending with a positive note.
Очень хорошо, что на позитиве мы заканчиваем, потому что это лучшее качество лидера.
I have quoted somebody, and I would actually also know the creative class, because they're actually powerful, especially people who are painting, that who actually get people involved
рисуют эти
in the game,
которые в первую очередь завлекают пользователей, вовлекают
I would also bet on that as well,
действия и так далее.
On the creative
тоже сделал. Спасибо огромное.
And well, if you want to hear about Louis XIII and the best NFT, in my opinion, I will definitely meet you and definitely talk with you on the sidelines.